Look at this. This is Michael telling you. This is the second book he wrote. He says to Credo and Virginia, thank you for being an inspiration to the... it's just a lot of Cotswold. I am nobody's inspiration. But look at this. Look at this. These are the ruins of cities spreading through South Africa. There is a mystery about these cities. You see the walls, but say what is the mystery? There are no gates in all these walls. Roads like this one, and bang, nowhere. Why? Again, look at this one. This one is on the border between
Let's just let the camera see it.
the Free State and Lesotho. And
these are walls with no gates?
Yes.
No entrances?
No.
Why?
That's the greatest mystery of all, Mr. David. These ancient people say, could tame African elephants. That woman, Kandake, she used to capture 30 or more slave women, black, making slaves of black. And this, she used to feed human milk to little baby elephants. Mr. David, the African elephant can be tamed if you bring it up on human milk. To say that the elephant is untamable is bullshit. It can be tamed, and I know how it used to be.
What about that book that makes you angry?
Sir,
you said that made you angry.
This book?
No.
The orange one.
The book that you're holding.
This
Temples
one.
of the African Gods. You said that Tellinger's book made you angry.
Yes. Look at this. You know what this is? This is a wall seen from the air, and the shape of it is Ubedu. This white man doesn't know. He says, listen to this. He says, and there is a distinct example of the Om shape here. Bullshit. This is how the ancient Africans used to cast gold into necklaces. You have seen them, Mr. David. In Ireland, they are called toques. This is a toque, ubedu. This kind of necklace was known in Africa, and it was awarded to champions in sport. It's like this. The people who are called the Balubedu, who are in the Northern Transvaal, their names means people of gold, the gold processors. Look at this. The fool says, another distinct example of the Om shape. He sees Indians everywhere in the world. This is symbolic of the unity between God in heaven and the earth below. We call it Tsalo. And this white man just writes a lot of Cotswold, really. And there is a circle. The gate ends nowhere. You can't get into there. Oh yes, you could. You could.
How could you get into it?
Into it?
How could you get into it without a gate?
It's simple, Mr. David. You got yourself a big female elephant, yeah?
Yeah.
You can ride her. She can pull a sled. These roads were for elephants to walk through. And an elephant, you stop her, you get off her, and you get inside. It's simple. Elephants were not, the African elephant was not untamable. It was. All these walls, you know now what he says? He says these walls were some kind of energy generating device. Oh. In a pig's eye it was. And this man, look there, that was an elephant which pulled a sled along this road.
That's how they made them?
Yes, sir. And then the elephant would stop at the end of the wall, and it would be free. It would be freed of the sled, and it was whistled to go back into. Hi, Futek! Futek! What?
So basically,
Yes, sir.
are you saying that Michael Tellinger's
He's talking
interpretation
nonsense.
of-
He's talking nonsense. Michael Tellinger.
Hang on. Let's just wait till the dog stops,
Yes, sir.
and then I'll ask you the question again.
You know, Michael Tellinger, sir, is a friend of a white man who hates black people like poison. You cannot be a scientist if you are a racist. You will never judge. You will never know. This man, wait, I will show you him. This man sees a red Indian, sees Indian influence in black Africa at every corner. He is a racist who thinks that black people are stupid monkeys. All this, look at that. He shows how wide and deep the roadways were. Someone has got to correct this mistake. Say, this is the cradle of civilization in Africa, right here in South Africa. All over there, if you fly in an aeroplane, you see all these things, and racist whites call these cattle corrals. Bullshit. Look at this. This is the lost knowledge of our people. This man, Hromnik, says these were, oh God, he just makes me sick. This is the great truth about Africa, sir. This, honorable ones, is where the Star people came down. Look at this. Look at this, sir. What does this suggest to you? Come on, sir. give us a real Mr. David Icke science.
Put me under pressure here.
Yes,
He
sir.
calls it the South African Sphinx.
Yeah,
Shit.
it's more of an animal, a bull, and
Yes, sir. This is the guardian of the South. This is Ningizimu in Zulu, the bull who guards the South. In ancient Phoenician, this entity was called Ningish Zida. He was the god who guarded the southern regions of the world. And here is something, honorable ones. He rightly points out the alignment of these things, and then this is not a lion. A lion doesn't have a huge hump like this at the back. This is a Brahman bull. On the back of this bull, sir, rituals were performed as recently as 1941. A female Sangoma and a male Sangoma used to ritually mate on the back of this creature to unite heaven and earth. I saw it being done.
I know that you have spoken
Yes.
and met with Michael Tellinger about his work. What did he say when you talked to him about these things?
You know, sir, they just use my name. My name is a commodity to them. This man, Romnik, wait, he's here somewhere. You see this, sir? This is a huge plate of rock. And on this plate of rock are writings of how the Star people descended to Earth. It's right here in South Africa.
whereabouts?
Sir,
Whereabouts? Whereabouts in South Africa?
I tell you, Rickops is a land near Kimberley.
Well, not that far from here, then.
No.
What is it saying about the story of the Star People?
You see these things, eh? That one. This one. This.
Yeah.
That's a mothership, sir. And wait. It tells over hundreds of years this incredible record by a civilization that started in South Africa. This is what the Egyptians call, oh man, the Egyptians call these things a benben, and Africans call it mbembenunu. It's like a pyramid. It lands and the people come out. Somebody has got to correct this mistake.
So are you saying that perhaps the pyramids are taken from the shape of the mothership,
Yes, sir, they are mbembenunu.
and that's why they're that shape?
Yes, sir. And wait, just look at this. Listen to what they say here. Right, perfectly carved holes in rocks. Many of these show metallic residue around their edges, as if they were used as crucibles for molten metal. Yes, yes, but not all of them. Gold was poured there from a crucible. The blacksmiths of South Africa, the black men and women who mined gold, they practiced all kinds of strange rituals. They did not cook food in pots, Mr. David, Mr. Nyoni. You know what they did? I can show it to you one time if I'm still around. There is this hole in the rock. These people were very, very, very superstitious about how they handled metal. They did not use a clay pot to cook food. They filled a hole like this with water, and then they hotted up rocks, round stones, almost like these that we see the future through. They hotted these round stones, and when it was hot, you put it in the water, and you don't allow it to cool. Put it in the water, and then remove it and put another one. You can cook food beautifully by cooking it in throwing round stones into such things. And these are stone tools. Mine workers, diggers of mine, were not allowed to use metal tools. You were not allowed to use a metal object to dig for gold. You had to use a stone out of respect. All these.
How does the respect come in with stone rather than a metal?
Because metal working people, they felt guilty about taking metal from the stone. So out of, call it superstitions, they used to use stone tools to dig for gold. You were not allowed to use metal to rape metal from the earth mother. You had to use a stone.
Credo,
Yes.
is Michael Tellinger correct about the date of what he calls Adam's calendar? He thought that, I think, that they were maybe even 60 or 70,000 years old. Is this correct?
They are older, sir. Much, much older. These things, there is a strange story behind them. They were much, much, much older. Yes, Mr. Tellinger is a good writer, sir. But there are some facts about Africans and their beliefs that he does not know. And him, this loathsome piece of white excrescence, he hates me like a dog. Now, look, sir. Look this. This is a cooking device. There it is again. Mine workers had to cook food out with stone. There. Crucibles. Now listen to this. The Sumerian tablets tell us that the ancient people of the Abzu or Southern Africa were mining all kinds of minerals many thousands of years ago, long before conventional archaeology seems to suggest. Yes, he's right. He's dead right. Our people mined gold. And you know who did the mining, sir? No?
No.
Women.
I knew you were going to say that, women, yeah.
Yes. If a man took material from the earth mother, it was a rape. He had to die, that man. Women worked here, sir. Women mined gold and other metals in South Africa.
And was that mining connected to the Star People, as Zecharia Sitchin has said in his books?
Dr. Sitchin is the wisest human being I've ever had the honor to know from the East. He is dead right. He is dead right. People were obsessed with metal. They thought it was alive. That is why our name for metal, any metal, is Nsimbi. Nsimbi means the fearful object, the fearful living object. Nsi means fearful. No, Nsi means an object other than stone or wood. And Mbi means very evil, something which must be treated with respect.
So you would agree that the Star People are the origin of mining for gold in this area? And
Yes,
the
yes,
people were doing it for them?
Yes, sir. It started in Swaziland, where I had hoped one day we would go. It started, sir, at Bomvu Ridge. The first metal that our people mined was not gold. It was copper and later gold.
How far back are we going then, Fredo, when the mining started?
Too many thousands of years. At the time of Antu. Antu was the goddess, the great mother, the wife of Anu. Both words Antu and Anu mean human beings. It's African and Sumerian, both. It was the Bantu, the children of Antu, who mined all this and who recorded all this history. What is needed, sir? Somebody has got to put the record straight, Mr. David. This man, where is he? They see Hindu objects everywhere, as if there were no other people.
So you're saying that it wasn't that other cultures influenced Africans, but that Africans influenced other cultures?
Yes, they did. They did. And if, Mr. David, if we were to study the Sumerian language, 100 out of every 100 words are still found here in South Africa. Antu, Anu, Banu, Vanu, all these are names for human beings. Antu means the children of Antu, of Untu, the god, the mother goddess Antu. And Anu means children of the god. And these gods were blacks, not white. But it doesn't matter. A god is a god is a god, and he's nasty with it too. Whether he's white or black, he's still the same bloody backside.
So, what's the connection between Sumer and that culture, which conventional history calls the cradle of civilization, and Africa? You're saying Africa preceded it and
yes,
influenced it massively.
Africa preceded Sumer by many, many, many centuries. And so, there is something, Mr. David. You know, somebody has got to put the record straight, coldly and fearlessly. We black people, we were the mothers of the Sumerian civilization. There is not a single word in Sumerian but has an exact equivalent in Africa. There is not a single word in ancient Egyptians but has an exact parallel in Africa. We came, and for example, they call the South, Zacharias Kimse repeatedly refers to the southern part of the world as the Abzu. And the truth, the right pronunciation is not Abzu as in animal zoo. No, it's Abzu. They pronounced the ZU as Tsu. And that is an African word. If we say this person is very dark-skinned, we say umnyama Tsu. But what? There's someone I'm looking for. Look at this. Mr. Tellinger says one of the many stone walls that still stand close to 3 meters high, a section of a large ruin with a diameter of 150 meters, a carved stone that resembles a human head stands close by as if it was part of some kind of ritual. Of course it was. That this is Anu, the great father of the human race, and he's right here in South Africa.
So let's take this in kind of a sequence then, Cradle.
Yes, sir.
You say the Star people landed in Africa.
Yes, sir.
They started the mines and got
They enslaved the black people whom they found there.
And it seems that that place on the border of Botswana, the Toledo Hills.
Tsodilo.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That was the place where humanity as we know it was seeded?
Yes, sir. Humanity landed there, directed by the great giant Tsodilo, the place of emerging of living animals.
And from there,
Yes,
the knowledge and the myths and the beliefs and the language went north and eventually to Sumer in Egypt and became the
yes,
basis
sir.
of those civilizations.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, please look at this. Doctor, listen to this. We read that the Sumerian deity Dumuzi was buried in the deep Aputu on the edge of a cliff on top of a mountain facing east at his father's special place. This may yet become one of the most important historical discoveries that links human prehistory and so-called mythology of the 21st century. Listen to this. His father was the Sumerian deity Enki. Bullshit. Rubbish. Gag.
What is it then?
Say, Enki is known in Africa as Nkai or Ngai.
For people that have not, studied this, there's in the Sumerian tablets, Enki and Enlil are supposed to be the brothers who were leaders of a star people, shall we say, which
Yes, sir.
go under
Yes.
the name in some cultures anyway as the Anunnaki, and that was all. It's all based in Sumer. But you're saying we have to come to Africa to find the
Please, we have to, Mr. David. We have to. At one time, I was hoping to work with scientists like Madam Brenda Sullivan. Every god was ever worshipped by the Sumerians. Every god had his origin here in Africa. His or her name was African. Let me tell you about the goddess Inanna. In the fables of the Botswana people, in the fables of all tribes in East Africa and South Africa, the name Inanna occurs again and again and again. Not only that, in Africa, all the gods which were worshipped in Africa, which were worshipped in Sumeria, were actually African gods.
Same with Egypt.
Yes, sir. Ra, even today amongst the Botswana people here, the name Ra means father. And the oldest warlike goddess was in Egypt, Hathor or Hathor. In South Africa, she was known as Mahato, the mother of the great footprint.
Is that the footprint that you showed me once?
Yes, sir.
It's about 6 foot long, isn't it?
Yes, sir. And Mr. David, that footprint is the footprint of a woman, not a man. How do we know? If you are a tracker of people, you will notice that the instep of a woman's foot is slightly different from that of a male foot. Africa gave the world its civilization.
You were telling a story earlier, and I kind of give a bit of historical context about, you were telling a story about Enki and the relation of that figure to Africa. Could you continue with that story?
Yes, sir. Enki in Africa is known as Ngai or Ngai. He is still worshipped even now amongst the people of Kenya. And there is another god, a deity, called Uru Wantai. Uru means old, or grand, or majestic, Uru. And in Africa, you go to Zimbabwe, say, in Africa, the word for great is Kuru, and in Zululand, Kulu. The word Kuru or Kulu also refers to a grandmother. And here is another thing talking about grandmothers. A grandmother is called Gogo in Zulu. This immediately joins African language to Greek language. The word Gogo means wise, old, leading person. And the word occurs also in Greece as Gogos. Gogos means a leader. From this comes the English word Gog, as pedagogue.
Do you have the equivalent of Enlil, in the Sumerian?
Yes.
The brother of
yes.
Enki. And are they connected as brothers in African?
Yes, they are, Mr. David. They are. If the word Enlil means Lord of the voice, Lord of the command. And in the language of the Xhosa, to issue to shout or to cry out is Lila. Immediately you are talking Sumerian, Lila. To wail as at a funeral is Lila.
It's interesting. I've talked to you over the years about your travels and how you found that you can understand people in apparently different languages all over the world, whether it's the Hopi or
yes.
Australia. Are you saying that there was once one universal language, or at least a new language was introduced by the Star people, and it went out from Africa and changed slightly?
Yes.
That's why you can still understand
this
it?
Is what I am saying, and I'm saying that defiantly because it is true. And Lila means to cry out. En means king, and Lil means a shout or a voice shouting. So if a god is called Enlil, it means the Lord of the commanding voice. And Enlil had a wife. Her name, wait for this, was Nina Lila. Nina means a female. And in Africa, even now, go to Zululand, what is the name for a mother in Zululand? Nina, N-I-N-A, Nina. If I say the mother of David, I say Unina ka Davida. The word Nina is the name of a female entity.
I've also read, Credo, that genetic research has suggested, at least one study, that all of humanity can be traced back to a single female in Africa,
Of course.
about 200,000 years ago, something like that. Does that fit with what you come across?
Yes, I had the great friend, Professor Raymond Dart, and with him we studied these things. He gave me the original words, and I could find similarities in Africa.
So you think that humanity was seeded in Africa and then went out from Africa? That's
Yes,
the thing that
yes,
people come up with.
Yes, Mr. David. Otherwise, why are there so many hundreds of Indo-European words in the African language even now? Why are there words in the Indian language which are similar to African words? Take, for example, say, in the Hindu language.
Just a moment. Excuse me, could you turn the radio down, please? Could you turn the radio down? You can't hear you.
No, so they can't.
Too loud. Okay, doesn't matter. This is getting noise in the background.
We can go
We can go see an example,
into the temple, sir.
and we can go through this. in
Yeah. What I don't want to do is to disturb your train of thought.
No, it's quite all right, sir.
You're not going to lose anything, huh?
No,
What I'll do is
Okay.
I'll ask questions that will go before this. We can just
Yeah.
you can just cut to the mix to this, and then I'll throw some.
This is
questions.
amazing, see, because Michael Tellinger's interpretations of what's happening in South Africa are going out all over the world, and it seems like no one is hearing your voice. And what I don't understand is, I know that you've met with Tellinger. Did he not listen to you, or did he not answer the
he
right
just
questions?
used me, sir, as they all do. I am the most used nigger in South Africa.
Did you tell him, Fredo, the sort of things you just told us?
Yes, sir. Now, this man here, there's something here. This man here, he rejected me out of hand in the days when I was working with Brenda Sullivan.
Which man are you referring to when you say this man here?
Romnik. There is a white man who is called Romnik. He is a Hungarian. And if ever there was a man who is a bloody racist, it's him. He says that black people have no native intellect, that we all imitate what white people say. This is bullshit. Wait, I will find him. Let's go and...
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's go inside and start.
Let me carry you back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir.
So, no problem.
No.
There you go. You give me those books, mate, and you just look after that. I'll take those.
Please, sorry, Mr.
Let's go.
I feel bloody weak, but that's my fault.
When you said, Credo, that
Yes,
when
sir.
you said that you would like to set the record straight, then this is what we would like to help you to do, of course.
Sir,
We're starting to do this now.
white people, even now, many of them, do not understand that a black person is capable of clear thought. We are despised in a way that is our best defense. We are despised, looked down upon.
If there is a message that you wanted to give to Michael Tellinger now,
He won't listen. I won't even waste my time. Because nobody really wants to listen to the African. We are called apes, unthinking monkeys. But that is much to our advantage. Some of the greatest black leaders in African history often used to play stupid in order to protect themselves. The man who killed Shaka used to behave like an idiot. He used to wear his loin skin back to front and wrong side out. And Shaka despised him. It was exactly like Brutus, the one who really shoved it into Julius Caesar. The world has got to know before Africa is destroyed, as she is in the process of being destroyed. The world has got to know what we know.